I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the special district association responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station, so if there's a news event or story information that you would like to share, call us. The number is 970-677-4119. And if you're a business or organization, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments run on the channel. This is the Wednesday program for July 8th, 2020. DCTV Daily News. The Supreme Court justices ruled that Colorado can bind presidential electors' votes. Unanimous decision as reported by Patch.com. The Supreme Court ruled on Monday that Colorado can require electors to vote for the winner of their state's popular vote for president in the Electoral College. The unanimous ruling in cases in Colorado and Washington state overturns an appeal court's 2019 opinion. The decision, which comes 4 months before the 2020 presidential election, the general election, allows Colorado to remove a so-called, quote, faithless elector, a presidential elector who chooses to vote as a free agent and not for the winner of the state's popular vote. Justice Elena Kagan wrote that a state can instruct electors that have no ground for reversing the vote of millions of its citizens. That direction accords with the Constitution, as well as with the trust of a nation that here we the people rule, Kagan wrote. The ruling comes as dozens of states bind their electors to vote for the popular presidential winner. 3 Hillary Clinton electors in Washington state and 1 in Colorado refused to vote for her despite her popular vote win in both states. In so doing, they hope to persuade enough electors in states won by Donald Trump to choose someone else and deny Trump the presidency. The federal appeals court in Denver ruled that electors can vote as they please, rejecting arguments that they must choose the popular vote winner. Today's unanimous decision by the United States Supreme Court reaffirms the fundamental right to vote of every American and ensures that when we cast a vote for President of the United States, our voices will be heard. That was spoken by Colorado Secretary of State Gina Griswold in her statement. The will of a few unelected presidential electors should never supersede the will of the people, and today's landmark decision rightly protects Americans' right to vote and to self-governance. The fact that the justices were unanimous in their decision further illustrates that their realization that electors not bound to the will of the people needlessly opens up our entire election system to corruption and outside influence. Quote, I applaud the court's decision and am thankful that the justices were willing to hear the case and make a determination in time for the 2020 general election, which will give every voter the peace of mind that they will have say in who gets elected to be our nation's next president. Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser said that the decision will help protect the country's democratic principles. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously affirmed that the states, and the states alone, have the exclusive authority to appoint and, if necessary, remove presidential electors when they violate their pledges, Weiser said. The court's historic opinion ensures that the presidential electors will follow state law when they cast their electoral college ballots in presidential elections and not act as free agents. With this issue decided before the 2020 election, we can avoid uncertainty, chaos, and confusion in the Electoral College and protect our nation's democratic principles and system of stable governance, end quote. November 3rd is the general election ballot, with incumbent President Trump and VP Pence on the Republican ticket and a yet-to-be-determined combination ticket for the Democrats. Be sure you are registered to vote. It's an important part of our governing process in Colorado. You can go online to sos.state.co.us. That's the Secretary of State's site for Colorado, and you can follow the links to register online or fill out the PDF form. The clerk's office here in the courthouse is open Monday through Thursdays and a half day on Friday in the mornings if you want to make an appointment or drop in. The courthouse does have a COVID check-in process, so be sure to be healthy if you want to do any business in person at the government buildings. And now, let's take a look at the local weather into this weekend. Today, another sunny day with a high near 88 degrees, with south-southeast winds at 5 to 15 miles an hour and gusts to 30 for today. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 56 degrees, west-southwest winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. And we have a red flag warning and fire weather watch until 9 p.m. tonight. Please be careful in all of these dry and windy conditions. And looking to Thursday, again sunny with a high near 88 with southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, shifting southwest in the afternoon. For Thursday night, clear and a low around 56 degrees. Those winds from the southwest eventually trail off overnight, but still there may be gusts to 20 miles an hour on Thursday night. For Friday, it's the start of a summertime heat up. Sunny with an expected high near 92 degrees or hotter. Light and variable winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour, and again, some winds could be gusty up to 20 miles an hour. For Friday night, mostly clear and a low around 59. And a hot, dry weekend on tap. Saturday, sunny with a high near 94 degrees. Saturday night, mostly clear and a low around 61. For Sunday, mostly sunny and a high near 93, with Sunday night mostly cloudy and a low around 62. Then those clouds may move out into Monday, where we have another mostly sunny day and a high near 93 degrees. Monday night, partly cloudy with a low around 61. And now back to the news. In some good news, Colorado is on the cutting edge to reduce China's rare earth element domination. That's reported by The Complete Colorado. A Colorado city is now home to the tip of the spear in combating China's domination of the world market for rare earth elements. That's REE. Manipulation of the REE market by China most recently resulted in the shutdown of the Mountain Pass REE mine in California in 2015, after an attempt by Greenwood Village-based Molycorp to reopen what has been the only developed REE mine in the U.S. A pilot plant now in operation in Wheat Ridge, which borders Denver to the west side, will fine-tune existing technology to extract and purify elements including lithium, scandium, zirconium, beryllium, gallium, and hafnium, among others, from domestic ore deposits in Texas. The plant, built by New York-based USA Rare Earth and commissioned on June 11th, was built to be near the expertise at the Colorado School of Mines in Golden, adjacent to Wheat Ridge, during the technology development phase. USARE expects to build a larger plant at the Round Top REE mine the company is developing near El Paso, Texas, next year in 2021. In a company press release, Penny Alphos, CEO of USARE, said, "Our Colorado pilot plant will be the first processing facility outside of China with the ability to separate the full range of rare earths, the lights, mids, and heavies. Our Wheat Ridge pilot plant is the second piece of a 100% U.S.-based rare earth oxide supply chain, drawing on feedstock from our Round Top heavy rare earth and critical minerals deposits in southwest Texas. Taken together, Round Top and our pilot plant constitute essential links in restoring a domestic U.S. rare earth supply chain, extracting rare earths and processing them into individual REE oxides without the material ever leaving the U.S., thereby alleviating the current dependence on China for the both raw materials and mineral processing." End quote. The Wheat Ridge pilot plant may remain active after the new plant is built in Texas to process ore from other mines. There are several large REE ore bodies in the U.S. and Canada that remain undeveloped. Since China first started developing its internal REE mining and refining capacity in the 1950s, it has grown to control as much as 99% of the market for these elements, which are indispensable for the production of advanced electronics, permanent magnets, and military hardware. The F-35 Joint Strike Fighter uses some 920 pounds of rare earth metals, and Virginia-class nuclear submarines use nearly 10 tons. Rare earth metals are also needed for consumer products like hybrid cars, laptop computers, and mobile phones. The U.S. has several known deposits of REE, as we mentioned, including in California, Alaska, and Texas, that have been languishing in the face of China's market domination. President Trump issued an executive order on December 20th of 2017, directing the government to facilitate development of strategic minerals supplies, including REE, saying, quote, "This dependency of the United States on foreign sources creates a strategic vulnerability for both its economy and military to adverse foreign government action, natural disaster, and other events that can disrupt supply of these key minerals." There are no facilities for refining REE ores in the U.S. and only one other plant outside of China. This means that almost all REE ore mined anywhere in the world must go to China or Malaysia to be refined into pure usable stock. Since 2017, the U.S. government has been buying REE from an Australian firm, Lynas Corporation, and its partner MP Materials. Lynas mines REE in Western Australia and refines it at its processing plant in Malaysia. But when it was discovered in May of this year that China held a minority share in Lynas, the U.S. Department of Defense funding for Lynas' U.S. partner, Blue Line Corporation, was rescinded. China has long sought to control access to refining facilities to favor their own enormous Baoyun Obo rare earth mine located in Inner Mongolia that contains perhaps 70% of the world's known REE reserves. Reuters reported on May 13th of 2020, quote, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz introduced legislation to help revive the U.S. rare earths industry with tax breaks for mine developers and manufacturers who buy their products, the latest attempt by Washington to break China's control over the strategic sector. Perhaps the resources here in our area in Disappointment Valley may prove to be a newly revised mining opportunity. If they can find some REE there, we'll keep you updated. From DCTV. The Fort Morgan Times reported on the recent signing of Senate Bill 163. Yes, I know this year, as a political major election year, will seem to have more than you might want to hear about legislation and government. But hang on, I'll look for some more local articles and news for tomorrow, Thursday. But this bill, 163, is an important bill to understand so there are not false rumors or concerns over the much spoken about forced vaccinations, especially given that Bill Gates said that we won't be back to normal until everyone is vaccinated. Quite a stretch in my opinion, and that's in relevance to the coronavirus, but everything about this health crisis and the true information data is all over the board. So that being said, Colorado Governor Jared Polis did sign a highly contested vaccine bill at the end of June with no fanfare or advance public notice. Senate Bill 163, which adds a step for parents who want to exempt their children from vaccines for non-medical reasons, received final legislative approval in the last days of the session. It's aimed at increasing Colorado's lowest in the nation child vaccination rates. Quote, I think it's good that we're dealing with facts and that we're dealing in science, said sponsor Representative Kyle Mullica, a North Glen Democrat and emergency room nurse. The new law requires parents who choose not to vaccinate their kids for non-medical reasons to either provide an exemption form signed by a medical professional or take an online module about vaccines and then submit a completion certificate. Schools will also have to provide students and their parents with their vaccination and exemption rates. Children who are homeschooled are exempt. The Department of Public Health and Environment has until January 1st to provide a standardized exemption form. Schools have to report their rates annually for the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines by February 15th. The state will keep the information in its immunization tracking system. Polis gave his support for the bill after opposing a similar bill last year. Republicans, except Senator sponsor Kevin Priolas of Henderson, voted against the bill, saying it violates parents' rights and creates privacy issues. Legislative support for the bill was not in question, given that Democrats controlled both chambers of the General Assembly. But hundreds of parents rallied against the bill, making it more difficult to pass after the coronavirus pandemic shortened lawmakers' session. A majority of Coloradans have indicated their support of tightening exemptions, according to polling by Keating Research. And another note that in-class schooling scenario for this fall is still being discussed and considered how best to proceed for the good of everyone's health, as well as the health and well-being of our school-aged children. We will also be following what our Dolores County School Board releases as we move closer to the time to have to make these tough decisions. People around the world are already being judged and denied access to financial services because of their social media data, and they don't even realize it. That's the headline from the Last American Vagabond, who read an article on your privacy and the term social credit. This is something interesting to everyone as we all attempt to navigate this crazy new technological, potentially technocratic world. It reads, by now many of our readers are aware of the ongoing rollout of a nationwide social credit system in China. Starting in 2009, the Chinese government began testing a national reputation system based on a citizen's economic and social reputation, or, quote, social credit. This social credit score can be used to reward or punish certain behaviors. The idea is that the state can give or take away points from a social credit score in order to engineer good behavior from the people. By late 2019, Chinese citizens were losing points on their score for dishonest and fraudulent financial behavior, playing loud music, eating on public transportation, jaywalking, running red lights, failing to appear at doctor appointments, missing job interviews or hotel reservations without canceling, and incorrectly sorting their waste. To raise one's social credit score as a Chinese citizen, you can donate blood, donate to an approved charity, volunteer for community service, and other activities approved by the government. The Chinese government has begun to deny millions of people the ability to purchase plane and high-speed rail tickets due to low social credit scores and being labeled, quote, untrustworthy. While most people are likely familiar with this concept because of the popular show Black Mirror, you can catch that on Netflix, the truth is this practice is much more reality than fiction. According to a new report from cybersecurity expert Kaspersky, 32% of adults between 25 to 34 have had issues getting a mortgage or loan due to their social media activity. The denial of loans comes as part of social scoring systems, which are being used at an alarming rate by government and businesses to determine customers or citizens' quote, trustworthiness. Based on those scores, systems make decisions for us or about us, from travel destinations and the associated costs to whether we are allowed to access the service itself, the report states. Kaspersky surveyed more than 10,000 people from 21 countries and found that 18% of those polled had issues accessing financial services because of assessments of their social media data. The report notes that more than 4.5 billion people use the internet around the world, and 3.8 billion have social media accounts. These accounts provide governments and companies with thousands of data points to score people. Less than half of those surveyed said that they have heard of social scoring or social credit. As few as 13% of those polled in Austria and Germany said that they were familiar with the concepts, while 71% in China were familiar. Unfortunately, the survey also found that 67% of people are willing to share their profiles to secure online shopping discounts, and 52% are willing if it means skipping lines at airports and other means of travel. Finally, 51% of people said that they are fine with the government monitoring their social behavior, their social media behavior, if it means keeping the public safe. The post-9/11 indoctrination appears to have worked to an astounding degree. Kaspersky warned that the public has little protections when it comes to their social media data, stating, quote, "There's no framework we are publicly aware of when it comes to other systems used by organizations and governments to collect our data," end quote. Further, the report states that consumers can find it impossible to find out what their scores are, how these scores are being calculated, and how they can be corrected if they are finding inaccuracies. Shengi Lin, a professor of strategy at the INSEAD Business School, told Euronews that she believes, quote, "You're going to have a holistic view of your behaviors, both financial and digital, and even physical, to give you a single credit score." Lin's comments points to an ever-increasing centralization of data and the push towards a single score by which governments will rate their populations. When combined with facial recognition, biometrics at the airports, CCTV cameras, drones, and surveillance planes flying above major cities, it is clear that the technocratic state is coming into full view. Clearly, the majority of people are completely in the dark about these programs and their dangerous implications. Therefore, the goal for those, quote, in the know should be to spread the word and warn as many people as possible. We must also take personal responsibility for the amount of data we voluntarily share with social media sites, apps, and the internet in general. The only defense against the complete erosion of privacy and thus liberty is an educated public who stands up for their own rights. For more information on removing your data from these data collection and aggregation sites, go to reputationdefender.com. It's a great resource. Consumers may find it a challenge to take a step back and remove their personal information from online and some real-world services. Organizations are digitizing quickly and benefit from technology and consumer data in new ways. Governments across the world are considering a wider implementation of state monitoring systems for the stated purpose of ensuring public security. A side note here is that the data for COVID tracer accounting is right up this alley, using the data on your phone to track where you've been and all of the COVID-related paperwork by many offices and businesses to track who has been where, in the innocent name of helping alert people who might have been exposed to the coronavirus so that they can stop work and quarantine themselves before further spread creates an overstressed impact on the healthcare systems, such as for hospitalization. Though again, a side note, the rush on hospitals hasn't been seen here in our region, thankfully. Dolores County still remains at 0 cases, with 61 tested, all negative, but they are looking to the next free testing on July 14th at the local clinic here to see if any of the reunion and family visiting on the 4th of July had an impact on our local health profile. With just 1 to 2 cases, those in charge are threatening that there will be further shutdowns. Nevertheless, it's not clear how much access to personal information and people's lives governments would request in these cases. The need for a compromise to show where the line is between public safety and control is becoming more crucial than ever. Protecting privacy, both online and offline, is still possible, and Kaspersky advises consumers to take the following steps to safeguard themselves. Don't forget to delete your account and history wherever possible when you stop using an app or online service. Additionally, check which connected services that have access to your personal accounts. Our world is changing, and that means every part of our lives could be measured and scored. Use caution when sharing your personal information so that you are not denied a service for previous behavior. Sharing behavior has its benefits, but only with the right services. An online survey may give you a discount off of your favorite brand, but this may lead to a company learning more than you wanted them to know. Remain vigilant about your online activities. And social media is an integral part of our daily lives, so think twice before sharing your personal information online in case it could be misinterpreted or even used against you. Finally, he writes, question everything and come to your own conclusions. Agreed. And I post up links and resources of other stories that pop up between broadcasts on the Facebook page, which is DCTV Daily News on Facebook. That's, of course, a social media platform. You can also watch the program replay there, along with news links and stories of local interest. And you, too, can share other events or news there and join in on the conversation. This is your local community TV station, so if you have something that you would like to share, contact us. The email is dcbnnews@gmail.com or call us at 970-677-4119. Thanks for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. Programs are broadcast Monday through Friday with replays online on our YouTube channel or DCTV Daily News page on Facebook. And if you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Again, thank you for watching.